Welcome to What to Do When, a podcast from real lawyers with real perspective, where we explore a variety of legal issues and scenarios. Each week, we focus on a new topic and discuss what to do when and if any of these legal scenarios ever happen to you or a loved one. With over 40 years of combined legal experience, our hosts offer their unique perspectives and insights on a range of real-life legal situations.
Hi, welcome back to another podcast here at Critzer Cardani in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Jackie.
I'm Scott. What's on the docket for today, Jackie?
What to do when you are a cosigner.
All right, cosigner. What the heck does that mean?
And how to avoid it. So a cosigner, much to a lot of people's dismay, means that you have a co-owner. So let's say I want to go buy a car. I want to go back here at the dealership right behind us, Hendrick Chevrolet. And it doesn't matter really how much it is, but let's just say it's a big price tag and I don't have enough credit of my own.
Like a $100,000 truck?
Sure. Let's say a $100,000 truck. I don't have enough credit of my own or maybe income on my own. Maybe I'm fresh out of college. I have
20 years old.
I'm just a kid, but I want this $100,000 truck.
Because you deserve it.
Yes, I do. And the dealership says that's really nice, but how about someone who's more credit worthy sign with you? Someone who has longer employment history, longer credit history, better payment history. I say, okay, fine, sure. Scott Cardani is going to do it for me. That'll be great. And I call you up and I say, Scott, I need a cosigner on the car. And you say, absolutely sure, no problem.
Sorry.
What that means is, if you did that, we now own the responsibility for the payments together and we own the car together. Not me over you, not you over me. We own it all together equally.
But wouldn't the car be titled in your name alone?
No, sir.
Interesting. How many didn't know that?
Co-signers means co-owners, co-registered. Here's where it gets tricky. I maybe, let's just say, didn't make the payments as I was supposed to. And they're calling Scott and they're saying, hey, you co-signed on this. You got to pay. And he's like, I don't have the money to pay. I'm paying for 14 other cars for my other 15 kids. And he says, well, you know, what am I supposed to do? Can't I just go, can't she turn the car in? Well, I could turn the car in, but my co-owner can't force me to turn that in.
Really?
Really. So when you co-sign for somebody, you are betting your credit worthiness or your pocketbook on their ability to pay.
Ooh. Again, we always try to be kind and nice, and we're all about that. But you really got to know the risk and the rewards of what you're doing and understand it. And and you could, like Jackie, could be the best person in the world. I've known her for years, and I choose to co-sign with her. That still means she could not default on the loan for some reason. Maybe she loses her job tomorrow.
Sure.
And she's too embarrassed to tell me, those things happen. And you just got to be really mindful of these things and mindful of these decisions. A lot of people run into them, don't even think about it. They just jump into a cosigner situation. Or what about this? I just co-signed for your $100,000 truck and my dream house just comes up.
Oh, boy.
Does that hurt me?
Well, likely your mortgage lender is going to see that you just co-signed, and it doesn't matter that you're co-signed. It matters that you are on the loan for that $100,000, and so that's going to go against your loan ratio, your loan-to-income ratio, and all the other fun numbers that they look at. So that's an important consideration. It does eat up your credit worthiness to some degree. I mean, I'm not sure who would be co-signing a $100,000 vehicle, but in our situation, we do have parents, right, who co-sign student loans. Now, I did have a mom. She co-signed on some of my student loans with me, and boy, oh boy, if she was getting a phone call, you better know that I was on the internet trying to do whatever I could do to take care of those payments. I didn't let those go because I knew what was happening. But she took a risk on me, as many parents do. Lots of parents do. For student loans, for credit cards, or sometimes you've got a co-spender on a credit card, lot different. And then you've got the parents who want to co-sign on a vehicle. What is the better option?
Yeah, what is the better option?
Better option. I go to Scott and I say, Scott, gosh, I really just need some help with a cosigner. And he says, I tell you what, I have the money to help you, but I'm not going to cosign with you. I'm going to buy the vehicle and you're going to pay me. Now Scott can act as a repossessor. So if I decide I'm going to default on the payments to the bank of Scott, he can come take that car under the regular rules and regulations under which most terms allow you to do so. Now, Scott would be wise to have a contract and a purchase agreement and all of those things, as would I, right? I don't want him to be able to just come take it whenever he feels like it. I want to be mindful that I'm paying towards hopefully a purchase. I am buying it from him, not just borrowing it from him or renting it from him. So there are ways to help the ones you love, and sometimes doing it that way is a little bit better, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't outright purchase it.
Yeah.
And your only option is to co-sign or for them to find something less expensive.
So let me ask you this. If I'm your co-signer and your life takes a turn and you go to Critzer Cardani, get bankruptcy help, because that would probably be one of the best places to go.
For sure.
And so you go in there and they help you with your bankruptcy. What's up with my co-signing in my $100,000 truck?
Well, you're not impacted by the bankruptcy at all, which is really great. However, you are now 100%, like you're it. You still have the obligation to pay the debt.
With no truck?
With no truck.
Just think about that for a minute, folks. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. All of a sudden, you become 100% liable and with nothing in your hand.
But you kind of raised two separate issues in the one question. Bankruptcy, okay, I can file bankruptcy and keep the car and keep making the payments. My bankruptcy is not going to impact you. That car being on my credit in my bankruptcy is not going to impact you.
Yep.
What will impact you is if I stop making payments, right, then you're going to see the 30, 60, 90, 120 day lates on your credit. And also, if the vehicle is repossessed by the lender, and now my car is gone, the $100,000 truck is gone, I still owe the money and Scott still owes the money even when there's no vehicle to show for it. Now, they have to sell it at auction and they have to mitigate their losses, and that's sort of a separate situation, but we still owe whatever they didn't recover. Dischargeable in bankruptcy, also, again, a totally separate topic. So bankruptcy can have an impact here and can help you get out of the problems that are caused when a vehicle is repossessed. But if we walk down that path, my bankruptcy, because that vehicle got repossessed, does not get rid of Scott's debt. Even if I bankrupt it, he still has to pay it.
So I might be somebody coming to you to say, hey, I got this situation where I co-signed for Willie, Wanda, Jimmy, and Frankie, my kids, and they all defaulted. I need to be in bankruptcy. Will that help me?
Well, you can bankrupt your co-signing obligations for sure, but most of the time when you're a co-signer, you have good credit standing, you have good income, you have assets that you can't protect sometimes in a bankruptcy. And so sometimes that's really not an option for the co-signer just because of their financial wherewithal. Sometimes they're not very creditworthy. They just needed two signers instead of one so they could go after both people. But when you are asked to be a co-signer, you really need to consider all of the facts. Yeah. You need to consider that it makes you a co-obligor just the same as the person who's getting the car and you have no benefit. And if they skip a payment, it dings your credit just like it dings their credit. And if the car is repossessed, you still have to pay for it.
All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's topic. We'll see you soon.
Like and subscribe.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of What to Do When. For more episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, and we encourage you to check our archives to listen to previous topics. Tune in next week for a new episode and some fresh perspective from Critzer Cardani.